Hello friends, in this video, I will show you the step-by-step process of removing drum brakes, wedging the pads, and reinstalling them. As an example, I will do all the work on the left rear wheel of the car. I will try to explain as simply and clearly as possible so that each of you can repeat everything in your garage. First, you need to loosen the wheel mounting nuts. It is better to do this while the car is on the ground so that the wheel does not spin. After that, lift the car with a jack. Be sure to put a reliable support under the car. Safety first. Remove the wheel and put it aside. To prevent anything from falling apart during further disassembly, you can put a box, rag, or any suitable container under the brake mechanism. This will help you not to lose small parts. Next, using a regular flat screwdriver, carefully pry and remove the protective cap of the hub bearing. Under it is the hub nut. Take a 30mm socket and carefully unscrew this nut. Don't forget that before removing the drum, you must release the brakes of the car. Completely lower the parking brake lever. The car must remain on the support and be well fixed so that it does not roll. Now we move on to removing the brake drum itself. It can stick to the hub or jam due to the expanded pads. In my case, the drum was held quite tightly, so I carefully tapped it with a chisel with light hammer blows, trying not to damage the drum itself and the elements of the brake system. Gradually, it began to shift and eventually came off. If the drum does not come off, most likely the brake pads are jammed. In some cases, the following method helps. Through the holes in the rear part of the brake shield, you can get to the release lever. There is a small stop there, which you can hook onto with a screwdriver and try to spread the pads apart. On this particular wheel, this method did not work for me. The brake was very jammed. But on the opposite side of the car, I was able to turn the lever and easily remove the drum without any effort. But there is one nuance. This time, the drum did come off, but the hub journal bearing also came off with it. This sometimes happens, especially if the mechanism has not been serviced for a long time. Manufacturers recommend replacing the bearing and hub nut with new ones in such cases. However, I decided to disassemble the bearing myself and install it back. The condition allows it, and there is no play. After that, I again try to move the expansion lever to the side to spread the pads as much as possible. But alas, everything is stuck there, and I could not move the lever from its place. Keep in mind that this method may not work, especially if the brake mechanism has not been serviced for a long time or is corroded. If this is your first time repairing drum brakes, I highly recommend taking photos of the brake mechanism assembly from different angles. This will greatly help during assembly. And if you didn't have time, no problem. You can use my photos and videos. They really help out during assembly. Let's move on to disassembling the mechanism. First, I remove the lower return spring. Using pliers or a screwdriver, disconnect its lower end from the front shoe. I remove it and show you. This is what it looks like. Next, I remove the front shoe support post. To do this, I use pliers to turn the spring cup of the support post, aligning the groove in the cup with the tail of the post. If the tail turns, you can simply hold it with your finger from the back side. This is what it looks like from the rear of the brake shield. I remove the cup with the spring and take the post itself out of the hole in the brake shield. I remove the second support post from the second shoe in the same way. After this, nothing holds both shoes in place anymore, and they can be easily removed. Next, I disconnect the end of the parking brake cable from the rear shoe lever. It comes out without much effort if the cable is not stuck. After this, I move on to the upper tension spring. I carefully remove it and put it aside. Then, I take out the spacer bar, also carefully, so as not to lose small parts. I always check the condition of the parking brake cable and its protective braid. They should not have any abrasions, tears, or signs of corrosion. The cable should slide freely inside the casing. This is important for the correct operation of the handbrake. Obviously, the release lever is jammed. It must be developed. I take a penetrating liquid, WD-40 or similar will do, and apply it to all moving parts of the lever. After that, I put the whole mechanism aside for a while so that the liquid can start working. While the penetrating lubricant is doing its job, I clean the brake shield and other elements. And you subscribe to the channel and like it. I remove brake dust, dirt, rust residues. All this can interfere with the normal operation of the brakes. A little time has passed. I return to the lever. I add penetrating liquid again and try to work out the jammed lever with a flat screwdriver. The process is not fast. You need to act carefully, gradually loosening the mechanism until it starts to move freely. When the lever starts to move, I clean it thoroughly so that no parts get stuck. It is important to ensure that it moves easily and without effort. This takes time, but it is worth it. After that, I move on to checking the threaded stop on the spacer bar. The nut should turn freely. If it is stuck, clean and lubricate it. Now I apply grease to all contact points of the pads with the shield. These are the places where the metal of the pad slides along the brake shield. I use copper grease, but now ceramic grease is increasingly recommended. It withstands high temperatures better and does not conduct electricity, which is important for modern systems. I assemble the spacer bar. I make sure that it is seated correctly in its place. Then I connect the handbrake cable to the lever and install the rear brake shoe in place. I fix it with a support stand. I install the front shoe in the same way. Please note that the toothed nut stop must be installed correctly. Otherwise, the gap adjustment will not work correctly. Now I put the spacer bar back in place, having first pushed the threaded stop into it as far as possible. This will give us sufficient clearance when installing the drum. Next is the upper tension spring, then the threaded stop release spring, and finally, the lower tension spring. This is how the assembled brake mechanism looks now. Everything is in its place. The springs are installed correctly. The shoes are securely fastened. I check the operation of the parking brake. I pull the handbrake and watch how the release lever operates and how the shoes move. Everything should work smoothly and without jamming.